Yeah, so Cosimo, very happy like Father Christmas, and I'm really interested to see how much weight he's losing, because he is the biggest, so he will lose the most. I'm not sure if he has a good chance of winning. He's up there in my mind, but I'm not sure yet. I think most of the celebrities like him, but I think they might get frustrated because his German isn't so good and his English isn't so good. I'm hoping his Italian is really good. I think when he did the trial in the shitstorm, it was one of the funniest trials in German history. I think it was miraculously perfect. Jamila, one of my favourites because I've worked with her in Cologne a few years ago. I'm yet to see her really perform in a trial, so let's see what we have in store for her, because she could win this show, but she needs a couple of trials to prove how good she is. Let's just wait and see. Yeah, I think many viewers are very surprised when they first see her, especially in this show, because she's so different than what they expect. She's a lovely lady, she has great stories, she's very intelligent. So people in the camp, I think, are starting to realise that, hopefully the public as well. Gigi. You know, I'm not so sure about him. You know, he loves himself more than anything else in the world, and I think this could be his downfall. And I think all he's interested in is girls, girls, girls. I don't think he has a chance to win, personally. I think the public will start to get annoyed with him. And I think some of the campers might be getting a little annoyed with him. You know, he's a good-looking boy, he does well, but I don't think he has what it takes to be the king. Yeah, I think he lives in a reality world and not the true world, and I'm pretty sure that most of the public also realise this. Yeah. So one of the interesting things, of course, when I met him, I asked him if he could do some cooking in the camp. And he said, "No, Bob, I live with my mama. My mama, she does the cooking." So I said, "Well, when are you going to leave home?" "Why?" He says, "Why?" I think he needs to leave home. Puppies. Yeah, so I really like him. I want him to do more trials. He's a crazy character. He could be a stand-up comedian working the Broadway stage in New York. He's got everything it takes to become king. So it's all there inside him. He just needs the opportunity to show more at trials. But he's one of my favourites. I think he does have a chance to win. Yeah. It depends on those trials, and if he gets into the final three, how well he does. It all comes down to that. So the jungle, you know, sort of grows things and takes things away. So let's see what happens to him. Marcus. You know, he's a lovely guy. He's very happy. He looks cool. He needs to do a lot more in camp. He needs to be out there. And of course, we've only seen him in the first trial. So he needs to be out there pushing for the trials. And of course, with evictions coming up, who's going to be the first to go? Jana, you know, always praying, hands on heart. A lovely lady, a fantastic actress, loves the bush, loves the animals. When she did her trial, it was very scary for her, but she needed to show more. She needed to scream maybe a few times. Let's see what happens. She's very connected to nature, and she loves being here. And I think this is the reason she took the job on, was to actually experience Australia, wildlife and rainforest. So this is part of her mindset, to go on an adventure to different countries. She's pretty good in camp. She needs to be a bit more vocal on trials. And, you know, if you're scared, let the public know you're scared. And it's up to the public to decide your fate. So she needs to be a little bit more vocal. A lot of people think she's a little strange, a little weird, and but really deep down, she's just walking around, praying, appreciating life, and there's nothing really weird about that. Young Tessa. You know, she told me she was a rock climber, so she climbs up mountains, and she's got really long arms and really long legs, and she's thin, so she's the perfect rock climber. She is also a very strict vegan, so she's having a hard time with the food. And even in camp, when they get food, I don't think the other campers realise what a vegan and a vegetarian is, because I know the other campers don't want to share anything with them, which is a little unfair. She's doing good. She could be in the final 3. She could even win. She's one of those types of people I think the public like to enjoy watching and making them suffer in a way, you know. So she's been given a few hard trials, and she's done pretty good, especially with Cosimo. But she was laughing all the time at Cosimo. But then, of course, when she got back into camp, she started to cry, and it was the opposite. So it's interesting what goes on in your mind when you're in camp. Varina. Well, you know, she had the advantage, her boyfriend Mark, who was in Series 7, I think it was. But I don't think she listened a lot to him. I know he actually told me he tried to give her information, but she wanted to do it on her own. I think maybe she should have listened to him a little bit more. She's doing well, but she could do better. I think she's realising it's a show, and I'd like to see her a little bit more natural. Yeah, I think she's not as true as what she should be showing. And I think the public are very clever. They know. We call it in Australia sussing you out. It only takes one day on camera for the public to know, are you really you, or are you trying to be somebody else? And I think she just needs to be more herself. Jolina, you know, she, when I first met her, she told me medically about her fear of frogs and toads. So as I remember, she saw a frog. It wasn't a big one, but she did panic in camp a little bit. So that's her closest she's come to one in Australia so far. She's a good contender. Personally, I don't think she'll get into final 3. Anything can change. I hope she does, but I'm not sure she will.
Why?
I just don't think, again, she's doing enough in camp, and you've got to be that extra special. Her personal story is quite amazing, and what she shares with the other campers, I think it will help them understand a bit more about people like herself, which is a wonderful thing. I think she's been through, a huge ordeal, tragic in a lot of cases, but she's a very friendly, warm person when I met her. Yeah, all full of smiles. Lucas, you know, we all know Lucas. His dad won the first show. We tried to get him in South Africa. He got COVID. He's a very warm, loving person. I could be really a good friend of his, you know. We've had quite a few meetings over the last few years. There's something really deep in his heart. He cares a lot about people, and he's a lovely boy, but I think he's too quiet in camp. And I'm surprised. I'm sure he's watched the show many times, but he needs to be out there. He needs to be showing people. He doesn't have to copy his father, but he just needs to be different. It's no good being quiet and just sitting there and joining in with the conversation. He needs to throw some interest in. I hope he gets up to at least the final 5. Cecilia. You know, when I met her, you know, there was this powerful woman standing there, very straight, beautiful looking, very determined. When I met her, I thought straight away, well, you have a great chance of getting up there to the final 3. I think she also, a little bit like Lucas, needs to be doing more. The first night, you know, there was an argument in camp, she was part of it. She should have kept that going. She could have pressed that point and made something of herself. You can't just rely on being beautiful. You've got to have a little bit more, unless you've got 4 or 5 million followers, I don't know how many she has, but you need to come out of yourself. And sometimes the celebrities come in and they're a little bit scared of showing the true self. And really, that's their advantage if they do show the true self. Yeah, I'm disappointed she hasn't been picked for more trials. I'm hoping this week she will come out and show us what she's really made of. I'm really looking forward to that. Claudia, really this is what she's like. She's always laughing, always joking. I found her a delight to meet. She's been picked on many trials. In fact, every trial she comes to, she says to me, "I'll see you again tomorrow, Dr. Bob." So I think she realises the public want to see a little bit more of her. But she's doing great on trials. So she's already up there. So she's showing the public some fun. And that's what this show is all about.